Greetings and welcome once again to Roman of the Empire. I am your host, Roman. This week we are looking at Secret Invasion, Episode 3, How to Destroy a Character. Or I believe the actual title is called Betrayal, which is how the audience feels after they watch the episode. With me, as always, is my co-host, my wingman, the man that stopped me from carpet bombing Afghanistan. It is Shieldwall of Dragons. Welcome once again, my brother.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Happy to be here to review this show and go over maybe some news and stuff later on. So looking forward to it. Been busy this last week and a half, so I haven't been around the internet too much. So it's good to be back for a little bit. At least for 2 hours or so today.
Right on, right on. She will tell you if this is the way. It is the Untamed Mando. Welcome back once again to the show, Mando. How are you?
I'm doing all right. This episode put me to sleep while I was at work, and it's kind of hard to do that.
Oh, no.
And my sister brother. For any of you confused, just be confused. I'm glad to be back. Just because the show sucks doesn't mean the panel's gonna suck, because we're amazing, even though the show isn't. And I'm excited to be talking to you guys again and hanging out and bashing this bashing show, because it just bashes everything it touches.
Right on, right on. So not just popped by the Skrulls, but he is popped by culture. He is our good friend, Josh McDonald. Welcome back once again to the show, Josh.
What's up, Roman? How are you?
I am swell. My toe is broken. I'm in excruciating pain. I'm having a good time. You know what? I'm going to say the broken toe is still more fun than watching this episode.
Fair. I'm not going to argue with that.
So you did a fabulous 4th of July episode. That was just brilliant. And I want to thank you from this veteran's heart for that. That was so good, and you embarrassed me quite a bit. My Mrs. of the Empire, she was watching, and she's like, "Is he talking about you?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "No." I'm like, "No, that's my picture, honey." And she's like, "No. I'm gonna go make some chili." And then she wandered off.
Roman, you never told us you were married to Marge Simpson.
I always think that you're trying to do your wife's impression. I'm just like,
I know. So, and she says, I don't sound like that, but I always say that's how I hear you. So clearly, I have some kind of Marge Simpson filter in my ear, which allows me to hear Mrs. of the Empire.
Homer, how could you do
this? So his ancestors will sing the glory of his beard. He is Tyler the Redbeard. Welcome back to the show, my friend. How are you?
I'm good. I'm glad that stuff is finally happening in this freaking series. It took like 30 minutes into a 40-minute show, the third episode, but stuff is finally happening.
What show did you watch?
That's what I want to know.
Well,
he saw
everyone
episode
takes
4.
away their own
Oh,
things.
is that what it was? Did I skip the one? Yeah,
Probably.
He was like, I thought we were watching Mission Impossible 3.
Yeah,
Right.
No, it gets interesting at the end. It just it takes a while.
It does get interesting.
I was telling Mando before we got started, this was my favorite of the 3 episodes. And then she threw back at me that the last episode, British lady was torturing Skrull. I'm like, oh yeah, that's actually my favorite part of the whole show.
I would have
still
said,
my favorite part of the show.
I would have said this was my least favorite episode.
Really?
Yeah, we'll get into it.
Okay, we'll get into it. We'll get into it because there's a lot.
Guys, they're all just awful. Okay.
No, and when we talk our favorite, it's like looking at poops and going, "Oh, that one's the best." Look at the shape of that.
Here's
that
a nice
like
piece of shit.
I'm about to say, Tyler's like, "Hello, thank you for tuning back in to This Shit is Shit."
It's better. It's better.
This shit is better than that shit.
This time with more fiber.
He is the scourge of Gotham, the nemesis of the Dark Knight. He is Joker Voice. Welcome back to the show, my friend. How are you?
Well, on the bright side, there are 3 episodes left. On the not so bright side, there are still 3 episodes to go.
You know, one of the big problems with having a small count of episodes is if the story starts to go off track, they don't have a lot of room to recorrect.
No, there's no wiggle room here.
Yeah, so you have one bad episode, it'll ruin the whole series.
Yeah, so let's go down the chat real fast. Let's look at who's out there right now. Nosferatu the Vampire, my weird undead brother. Welcome to the show. Deception's Cave of Comics and Toys. Welcome to the show.
Decepticons.
I'm not wearing my proper eyes, so I'm going to read whatever the fuck I want. Rhoda Kamish.
What's up, Rhoda?
Howdy and welcome. Blah, 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 blah. Steven Ransom is out there.
What's up, Steven?
Ahoy, my brother. I'm glad to see you out there. Let's see. Shieldwall. I've seen that asshole before. Josh, he's clearly here. Here we are. America's 2001. Welcome to the show. Good to see you. Tyler, who was naked from the waist down, but we don't talk about it. Nadia, welcome to the show. You're probably going to get a hit from me at some point. Now that you're geared up, we're probably going to ask you to be on. Oh, you're Blarmy. You're Scissors. Welcome to the show.
Sorry, Tyler.
Love it after ever. Welcome.
I love it.
The Gourd King. Always welcome to the Gourd King. Let's see.
Blair to Blair.
Something that has Raquel.
Hi, Raquel.
Thank you, and a lot of things strung together after that.
She's watching from my channel. So.
Excellent. Glad you were here. Yes. So everybody's channel has the ability to stream this show tonight. So that's one of the things we're doing with the series because, why not? The Man Moon 4. Welcome to the show. Oh, yeah. Well, you're here. You're here in the chat. That's fantastic. We correspond on Instagram quite a bit. So, or not Instagram. Twitter. Forgive me. I've been drinking since early afternoon. All right. So that is the chat for right now.
Blair's down there.
So we're going to dive into this thing now. Just prepare yourselves for.
And by dive,
wrap in.
Yeah, it's not good. We're going into the shit pile looking for the pony.
Yeah, the shallow end of the shit pile. So be prepared.
All right. So
Sam.
All right. Hey, welcome to the show.
What's up, Sam?
All right. So we're going to dive in right now. We go back in time. And we're in
1998
something. Or is this
I thought it was 1998.
Yeah, 1998.
It is. It's 1998.
Right.
Okay. I actually have no fucking.
Oh,
So it's 95 is when the whole thing happens, and then.
So this is Nick Fury meeting up with who is clearly his future wife in some fucking coffee shop. You can tell because it's de-aged Nick Fury, who looks glorious. I fucking hate the de-age of Nick Fury so much.
He looks,
and they're discussing basically her appearance because he's like, "Hey, your new face is like," she's like, "Beautiful." He's like, "Hey, you and I aren't allowed to get together because you work for me," and she's like, "I don't exist. I don't work for you." And he's like,
"Why did she talk like Marge too?"
Look, I'm doing my best.
This is Roman's impression of every female.
Was it he said something like he said something like, because we work in the same
yes
division or something, and he said, "We don't exist. I don't work for you. We don't exist. Just because you're off the books, you do exist." So
there are a lot of things in this episode which are very questionable. So this is how he meets Mrs. Fury, future Mrs. Fury. And then this scene doesn't last very long, but then we jump to the present where things are not very good almost immediately. Remember the last episode? Nick came into the house, he put on his ring, and Lady Skrull, who was cutting vegetables to make Skrull stew or whatever the fuck she was making, gives him a big kiss, and you realize, oh, fuck, Nick's married to a Skrull. But this is where you realize Nick knows he's married to a Skrull. This isn't...
Right.
Right. Last episode we were like, did he know?
We had no idea.
Well, because that's also the same Skrull, the woman that introduced him to Gravik.
Yes,
G-Man.
Yes, so now we're in modern times, and she's like, "Fuckface, you've been gone." You because he asked her, he's like, "So what's up with you?" And she's like, when you died the first time, when the blip, which I fucking hate talking about it in that context, happened. I was a widow and I wept, and then you came back, but then you left again to go
voluntarily.
To Spain. And he's been up there for years. I thought she was actually kind of zipping back and forth, but
no, he's
just gone being a
to her in a
asshole.
long time.
And she says, you know what I became while you were gone? I became me, the me before you met me.
She was
certain implications.
She was such a fucking cow in this scene. She is such a cow.
Like, bro, I understand her from a certain perspective. The man you married left you for almost 10 years. Like, well, you knew he was dead for 5 years, and then he comes back and he's like, deuces. I'm out.
I think
and
I'll
she's
go
like,
to space now.
The hell? What the hell have you been? I moved on. I have a life now, bruh. Like,
I want to view.
Oh God.
And so like I understand her like being upset, but also like, bro, she a bitch.
I felt she was maybe, but here's the thing though. If let's say Roman of the Empire comes home from deployment after a couple of years and then decides, hey honey, I'm gonna voluntarily deploy to the Middle East for another few years. And then I come home. I'm not expecting probably a very good reception.
Exactly. Right.
But this goes to further, degrade the character of Nick Fury, is all this is doing. It's saying he's not only a failure, he's a bad husband.
Right. And I keep forgetting, like, is he married in the comics? Because I never remembered him being married in the comics.
I don't remember that at all.
I can't remember. There may have been an iteration, but I can't.
Well, proper Nick Fury or this Nick Fury?
Either.
I don't remember there being any iteration of a Mrs. Fury. Now, I know some of the deep nerds out there, and the deep nerds, if you're out there, I'm talking to you in this angle because that's the way I look at you. Let us know, was there a Mrs. Fury somewhere in the deep dive of the comics? Because I don't think there was.
Where's Pops?
Yeah, exactly. Where's Pops?
So the first two episodes, in case you didn't know, Nick is old, and he's old.
Mm-hmm.
And he's decrepit. He's not just old; he's decrepit.
And then,
this episode, not in case you didn't get it, he is useless, and he's a jerk.
That pretty much catches you up.
But also the thing is, like, he never portrayed himself as anything other than somebody who was always 3 steps ahead of everyone else, and he was the smartest and the bestest.
And I hate the explanation for that later on.
Has anyone
We're
else
gonna get
noticed,
to that, and I fucking hated it.
Has anyone else noticed a trend that writers in Hollywood have been doing for the last couple of years, where if you're anybody that's older, got to be a man,
Solo,
of course.
Indiana Jones,
past a certain age,
Nick Fury,
you're a washed up loser.
Yep.
Yeah.
You have no redeeming qualities. You might have been good when you were young, but now you're washed up over the hill. You've got regrets in life, and you don't age with grace. You're a deadbeat dad. You're incapable of doing anything on your own.
And Decepticons has a comic origin check on that, Roman.
Oh, okay. But
Really?
yeah, so that I just see that these current writers, I guess that's how they see old people.
Yeah.
They have
Almost certainly.
to.
No, they don't. They think if you've reached, I think it's good. And maybe we're just in the millennial age of writers or the younger the Zoomers. I don't know.
I think that's what it is. Is that
Probably.
I'm a man of a certain age. I think I'm older than most of the panel.
I was born in
I don't see
92.
myself as being useless just yet.
No.
If they brought me back into the game right now, I know exactly what I would do because what's going on right now in the game is not what I would be doing. And you can tell because the game is failing. So this portrayal of older characters like Han Solo, like Indiana Jones, and now Nick Fury, which is we get fucking 6 hours of Nick Fury failing. That's not good. It doesn't send a very good message, especially like younger viewers who are watching. Hey, you know your grandpa? He's a fucking loser. He's past his prime. He's sitting in your kitchen reading the newspaper and eating his waffles in the morning because fuck, he's done. He's a piece of garbage. But whatever, it's fine.
It's just one of those things where I'm technically within the millennial age range and whatnot, but I don't really consider myself a millennial because I was raised by my grandma and she taught me common freaking sense. And so it's just one of those things I feel like, and I don't know if it's just all on the millennials. I think there's some that's funny. I think that somewhere along the lines, someone told millennials, hey, as you grow older, you become decrepit and you're useless. Because I feel like it's not just a millennial mindset though. I feel like this is kind of one of the pitfalls of a lot of the up and coming generations. They're like, oh, well, we're better than the generation before us. I feel like this is kind of one of those things that, of course, they're going to think that the previous generation before them failed because of. Oh, well, we're better than the generation. Yeah. I don't know.
Thanks. So it's like I said, for a man of my age watching this and watching what they've done to Nick Fury, I find it mildly infuriating, just mildly. So, Josh.
Yeah.
What do you got? I know you have a lot of feelings about this show.
There we go.
We got to the parts that you want to yell at yet. Oh, there he is. There's my man.
What's up, Pops? I didn't completely mind this first scene with he and his wife. I thought the biggest issue was just it was bad acting. And I completely understand where she's coming from, saying look, I knew what I was marrying when I married Nick Fury. I was fine with that. You were getting sent in places, but the fact that you actively made the choice that you didn't want to be here, it pissed me off. And you know what? You're in the doghouse. I'm fine with that.
The problem for me, Josh, was that he made that choice.
They
made him make that choice.
Agreed. So it's okay, but the one thing that I actually liked was when they were in the flashback when they were in the diner. I liked that they mentioned Russia. So she's clearly been in Russia for a while. Because she was investigating the Red Room and Black Widows. And I like that they kind of started.
Right.
Yeah. I like that they infused that story, that plot thread in there. However, I wish they would have just taken advantage of these 6 hour-long episodes to kind of show that happening. As opposed to I'm very much a proponent of a show don't tell. And the one thing that I'm going to talk about with this episode is this episode was wasted.
A lot of tell.
This episode was this episode was wasted because so much of what they do in this episode they had already established in the previous episode.
Yeah.
But
all right. Yep. Yeah. That's what I was looking for.
Probably the show don't tell is you have to.
I have a lot of
sets and stuff, so it's easier just to tell.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, because you have I don't know what their budget was, but whatever it was more dialogue than fucking.
I'm sure it was $250 million, like every Marvel.
Probably.
So in this scene, you see fucking.
No, you don't.
Gimli, the fucking dwarf, walking towards the device, and he's. Oh, I'm sorry. I jumped ahead. So he walks towards this thing, and he's meeting with the Council of Skrulls.
Oh dear God.
And
Okay, so
he gives them the whole Super Skrull speech. Go ahead, Joker. Go.
This guy, okay. I think it's the previous 2 episodes he's had 4 lines of dialogue. He barely speaks. And this episode, I found out why. This guy is a plank of wood.
Yes.
There's no range in this actor whatsoever. None.
No, and I complained about this before, Joker, that when Marvel introduces actors who are, he's supposed to be a lead in this series, which is weird, but kind of the peripheral actors, which he has actually kind of become, they are all uninteresting, very generic kinds of people. And so Gravik is his actual name, who is the big bad guy in the show. He's a guy who most of you watching have never fucking heard of.
And he's supposed to be a revolutionary leader. I mean, I seem to remember history. All revolutionaries.
Are you not inspired by him, Joker?
No, I'm not. But I seem to remember all throughout history is a revolutionary is someone who is charismatic and can inspire can inspire the masses just from his words alone. Never got that out of this guy.
That motherfucker falls asleep in a car every time he's in one.
Yep. Except for that last scene that we're going to talk about later. He's not asleep in that car.
Yes, he's not asleep in that one.
Which is weird for the amount of sugar he has with his coffee.
Yes.
I love that. Like that. I hated most of the episode. Besides that, I was like, damn, that's a lot of people that I know that say they're coffee drinkers and they're not coffee drinkers. They're sugar drinkers with a hint of coffee.
So Gravik decides he figures this. He's figured it all out. He's going to make a Super Skrull. He actually says the words Super Skrull, and he has the Council of Skrulls, which is all the old people you saw in the last episode, come to show the device. So we actually knew in the last episode what this was. This wasn't like a revelation to the rest of us. I mean, there are scenes coming up there where you see that he's actually implemented this device, which is good. So he grabs Gaia,
who,
she's sleeping
by the way, she wakes up looking great. I'm just saying, there's no bedhead.
I also don't understand, why is he waking? What is all this light coming from?
Outside.
Sunlight.
Why is he waking her up in the middle of the fucking day?
Because she was up all night.
So, is that it? Because I am like, because he wakes her up. She's sleeping like on a gurney or a desk. That's a desk, actually.
That's a desk, yeah.
So his number 2, she is number 2, or where is she
there
in the hierarchy?
I think
she's like 3.
She's up there.
So
yeah,
they don't have proper sleeping accommodations for their leadership of the fucking rebellion. Here's the deal. I've slept next to a desk. I've slept slumped on a desk. I've never made a desk into a bed just because, though. And I've slept in some fucked up stuff. So I found this. I'm like, that's your number 1 or 2? What the fuck, dude?
No wonder she rebelled against you.
But honestly, the lighting in the scene is really cool. It does look interesting. This is like the best shot scene of the whole of this episode.
Agreed. I don't think she's his number 1 or 2. I just think she's considered like a leader. I think he's got a full arsenal of people ahead of her. So
she's like part of the inner circle. Is all.
Yeah.
Well, I know what her purpose is. Her purpose is very specific. But I don't. Does she? She obviously doesn't understand her purpose. Right? Am I wrong? Come on, work with me. Hey, Cajun.
I don't know if the writers understand her purpose, to be honest.
No,
they very bad.
I mean,
job.
which is why we get that last scene.
Yes.
I have thoughts. We'll talk about it later.
Yes. So here we are.
Boy.
Remember when clever Indian lady made a phone call after the council meeting at the episode, where she was the one who refused to kneel to Gravik, and she's like, "Tell us, this guy is fucked up. You need to take care of this." He's like, "I want a parlay," and she's like, "He's going to fucking kill you," and he's like, they'll just fucking do it. So they schedule a parlay. Just like in Pirates of the Caribbean, it's a meeting where you're not going to hurt each other.
It's agreed upon neutral area.
Yes,
neutral ground.
So they go to some it's a museum of some
art gallery. It's an art gallery.
And fucking Gimli points out this painting, which is the leaders of World War I meeting before the war or during the war or whatever, planning the war. And he points out this guy right here. He's like, look at his fucking fat face. That's what war is. That's old fucking men with fucking money who are sending everyone else out to fucking die for them. That's fine. That sounds like a very socialist point of view. That's cool.
It is.
But you be you fucking, gallstones. So they go and they meet in this room of
where he has
it's like a diner
where he has a ton of sugar to do with his coffee.
Yes.
Or
wait,
Talos is like, you should have just gotten an empty cup.
Right. So first we stood and talked,
and now we're going to sit and talk.
Sitting and talking. There's a lot of talking during the show, folks. A lot of talking.
Variety, you guys,
and not a lot of doing.
No,
not a lot of doing. So the problem, one of the problems of the show is the lack of action is killing the show.
Oh my god. No,
we got like a smidge of action when he stabbed his hand.
And I thought something was going to happen there. I thought all hell was going to break loose, but he just like...
No, but we were going to get like a cool scene where people are being thrown and tables are being flipped and we were going to get stabby and pew, pew, pew.
Look, I'm going to be honest. I was hoping they killed Talos here, and they didn't.
I was hoping they would detonate the nuclear weapon here, Josh.
Didn't they already detonate them? I will say, I don't mind talking if it's done well. Like, you can have effective dialogue, and it can be entertaining, and you can be like...
when it's done.
Right.
It's just exposition dumps, though.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. It's just exposition dumps, and there is no tension.
Explains what he wants to do here.
Now,
he basically tells him, we've acquired a nuclear subcrew who's going to launch missiles at a plane, and that's going to cause, a nuclear war.
But yeah, Josh is absolutely right. If you do it right, you don't even notice that you're, just sitting down talking. If it's
right, because
you really did during the scene.
So but here you did.
Is this before or after he tells midget chick what his plans were, and she
after
this
was after. So she's messaging her dad like, hey, they're about to blow up the thingies with the nuclear thingies and do something about it, blah blah blah.
But he doesn't know that yet because he hasn't gotten the phone yet.
Right. No. But his daughter, when they were out in the car, Gravik was out with Gaia. He's like, we're gonna hit this
nuclear sub this place 1,200 hours or whatever it was. It was like very specific.
So she types it into a burner phone. He goes in to have this meeting. They have the discussion about the painting. He comes out here. All these people that look like him are like regular people in the background. Yeah. And to me, they look like family members of like the cast and crew they just threw in there to like get them on screen. And then this is supposed to be a parlay, right? Where nothing happens. So it's talking about his daughter, so he starts threatening him.
Every time he talks about his daughter, so he stabs him through the fucking hand. He sounds like Will Smith.
Right. So
my daughter.
I just don't want to say something. Going back to just a lot of talking and how if it's done right, it's actually really good. Tyler and I on the Monday we review a Game of Thrones episodes where there is a lot of talking in that.
No, yeah, it's all about plotting and stuff, but it's done, well. They have good actors,
but it's all about the dialogue.
Right.
The show is not all about the dialogue, but it is, unfortunately.
It's all about the dialogue, but it's all about how you set up your story too. Like, and I kind of touched on this last week. There's no suspense and there's no tension, and there's no suspense and like anyone around me can be a Skrull that's an enemy Skrull. There's no suspense in the fact we keep hearing Talos say he's not alone, but every time we see him, he's alone. He doesn't actually have. If you actually had two factions of Skrulls that were actively working against each other and using real spycraft and not the shit we're going to see later, which I'm going to shit all over, there'd just naturally be a lot of it. There'd just be so much tension just naturally built in because you don't know who you can trust. You don't know.
There are a
what's
million Skrulls.
Yeah, and there's no Josh. There's no sense of
maybe 9
potential danger.
No.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it just like
Even on
it
Gravik's
just
side.
doesn't.
Even on Gravik's side.
None of these characters is in real danger, at least for a time.
Well, the other aspect of this whole thing is, do other human leaders know that they've been infiltrated?
Yes.
And I mean, obviously, Olivia Colman's character does.
And Rhodey.
Love me that character. Olivia Colman is still the best.
There's got to be a way to
she's great.
Skrulls, right? So there's got to be a way to like test their cells or something, that they're mutagenic or whatever. There's got to be a scanner you can invent or some kind of blood test or something so that you can check to make sure it's not a Skrull that's taken over a country or that you're talking to at that moment.
Right.
And I can get if they haven't introduced that technology yet, but they've had 30 years to develop it. The first thing that Nick Fury should have done when he figured out the Skrulls were here, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to help you guys, was immediately invent that technology.
Yeah.
Yes.
And have it available.
Who's a Skrull?
Yeah, because like it would prevent all of them from becoming. Well, I think the reason why he didn't do that, the original plan, and I'm probably thinking more into this than the writers did, but he probably was like, the Skrulls will never turn their backs on me because we have a deal. And so he's like, well, I will have my whole puppet nation with the Skrulls. Everything will be hunky-dory, and I don't need to worry about them rising up because as far as he was aware of, there was only a few of them, and they were all on his side.
Until we realized there were a million fucking Skrulls.
Yeah.
Right.
But also, I feel like in this show, there's more. Like, wherever they're in a place, there's like 15 Skrulls. It's like, where did y'all pop up at?
I do think too. I think we need to keep in mind, Shield knew about the Skrulls, but they didn't know. I don't think they knew even what Fury knew in the group that was there. But Shield knew that the Skrulls exist, so Shield would have been trying to find a way to identify them. And I'm willing to bet that's one of the reasons Fury was even like, "Hey, don't reveal yourselves because my agency, the government, they're gonna think you're the enemy based on what just happened.
Well,
so
here's
you have to stay deep undercover."
Is if the Shield knew,
this
then
is
Hydra
a good question.
Mm-hmm.
Because Hydra had infiltrated Shield, so they would have invented the Skrull detection equipment on their own, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, and they would have tried to recruit them.
Right.
They're a different fucking life form. You can detect that.
Your mom can detect that.
So
they should. Am I wrong? You should be able to detect that. I mean,
so
whatever.
So Pop said this in his Pop said this in his review earlier today, that the only way this show works is if it is just contained in this little micro world here.
Yes.
You really cannot bring in any references to the greater MCU at all, because then it just opens way too many questions.
Well, also, like, they keep talking about the heroes that it might come in and stop them and trying to make it to where they don't notice them.
Why they won't let them come in. Because
where is War Machine? Where is Spider-Man? Where is Thor? Where are all these
the human heroes?
Where's Captain Marvel?
We'll find out where Captain Marvel is when the Marvel lands in theaters in November. To answer Pop's two questions, the second one we'll save for later because there's a blatant answer for why Rhodey hasn't led a movement. But for the first one, I think we have to realistically, and again, I think this is one of the things that doesn't bother me. They didn't start calling all the Skrulls onto Earth until after the blip happened.
Right.
And
when there was a big gap.
Yeah, and Talos,
there was a big gap in humanity.
Talos had already mentioned that he waited, and then it was pretty clear that they weren't coming back. So I'd say you probably have a year.
So during the blip, though, that means half the Skrulls probably blipped out too, right?
Yeah.
Where do they reappear? Wherever they were. Okay.
Just
Out
like the
in outer
people,
space or whatever.
Yeah. But you're gonna have some of them that started coming to Earth during the blip, and then Iron Man snapped his finger, or Hulk snapped his fingers. Everyone came back. They came back alive. So you've only had like a year to 2 years since then of them kind of like figuring out what the F's going on. So it doesn't bother me that the revolt isn't as big as people want it to be. Like I understand why it's where it is.
Accepted. So what we do see in this scene, though, what is actually of interest is that they've implemented Extremis into part of their Super Skrull plan. So he has Extremis, so he heals immediately from the stab that Nick Fury gave him.
Stabby.
And I thought that was pretty good. Actually, that those 2 seconds were pretty good. I hated this scene a lot. I fucking hated this scene so much.
Yeah, I know. He interrupted his English breakfast.
Yeah.
Right.
Such classy.
So Nick
food.
told Talos to fuck
That
off.
pretty fucking
Dog
nasty.
food, right? That's what Nick said. That it's basically dog
You could
food.
eat that the rest of that dog food.
Well,
It's
and
like seriously, dude.
what was it?
You got-
What was
It is
it?
pretty
And
good.
I was watching. Who was I watching? I was watching. Who was I watching? I was watching. Disparu, and he basically said, "Yeah, he is right. It is dog food."
Yeah,
And
you guys,
Disparu would know.
you don't like Heinz beans? What's wrong with y'all?
With
Um,
beans and eggs.
I never eat beans with breakfast. That's not true. I eat I will eat black beans with breakfast. I never eat baked beans ever in my fucking life. It's when I eat baked beans. But if I'm doing like an omelet with jalapenos, tomato, I'll throw some black beans in there. I know it's a little bit weird, but
that sounds tasty. Actually,
so baked beans never ever in my fucking life are on my fucking plate that I'm eating from, though. Just in case.
Beans and Franks and beans.
No, just Frank's, no beans.
Beans and
Kind of
Franks.
like that
Frank's
swimmer, whatever his name was, who competed
Michael
against
Phelps?
all the girls. No,
Oh,
the other one.
Oh.
Oh boy. Okay.
All right, that was inappropriate, and I apologize. Anyways,
No,
Nick comes
that
back
was
to
good.
fucking Talos, and he's basically like, "I need your fucking help." And Talos is like, "So
Fuck off.
you need my fucking help because, like, for every other fucking thing that you've ever done in your life, you've needed my fucking help." And he goes on this whole lineage of basically how Nick Fury is only good. Oops, that's I
Oh well,
apologize.
no,
I hit-
that is
that's
in
me
the car
hitting the
scene.
keyboard. I apologize.
That's in the car
Um,
scene. The car scene is when he gets.
Oh, is that
That's
when he?
what
I don't have that. I
Yeah.
actually don't have the car scene. I apologize for that
Oh yeah.
because I don't. I was only able to grab so many images in the limited time I had.
So for this scene, you have Fury come in and he tells Talos that he
beans.
knows that someone high up in the U.S. government
Yes.
has or is a Skrull, and hopefully we all know who that is. And then he just says it as if Talos is going to join him, and Talos is like, "Nah, dude, like you
Like,
shit
what's
on
your
me,
problem,
and-
bro?"
Yeah. And
You
says,
just
"I'm
like
not-"
told me off like an episode
Right.
ago.
And he's basically like, I'm not going to do it until you say that you need me. And what I hated, it's 2 things I hated about this. One, they tried to make it cute and funny, and it was not cute and funny. Like, just don't. That you should. This
No,
isn't
it
the
wasn't.
show. And then the other thing I hated about this is the train scene from the last episode, this scene from this episode, and the car scene that comes later, all effectively do the exact same thing. And they should have just had one scene, hash it all out, just have a big like pride blow of like, each guy's ego kind of overtopping the other. Because I mean, look, we can say we don't like that Talos says, "Oh, you're successful because of me." The reality is they're both successful because of each other. Like Talos would not have accomplished what he accomplished without Fury. Fury would not have accomplished what he accomplished
Right.
without Talos and the Skrulls. But it's such a like melodramatic way of how they wrote these scenes.
What's up, Boosh?
Mm-hmm.
Boosh. Oh, and Zach. So
Oh, Zach, what's up?
Welcome,
And
buddy.
also, to be fair to
And
Talos in that
Zach.
car scene, is
Hello,
he doesn't
sir.
retort back to Fury about how you wouldn't be where you are without me and my Skrulls until Fury kind of gets on him a little bit about
Yeah.
not helping and stuff. And that's when he's like, all right, let me lay it out for you here. You think you're all like special and stuff, and you wouldn't be near as where you are in your career if it wasn't for us. Yeah. But I think Nick should have turned around and be like, well, I was smart enough to utilize you as tools to get the job done and make you my asset. So they were both right in the end.
Which is way more the most compelling dialogue I've ever heard on TV before. It's just amazing stuff. Just
I also hate.
Please drag this dick measuring contest out for 3 more episodes. I can't wait.
Right?
I can't wait.
I hate Nick Fury's face here too. Look at those scars. Look how deep they are.
Hey Roman, do you want to know how he got those scars?
I know how he got those scars.
It's a kitty cat.
That's not accurate by any measure. That is so fucking wrong.
He got it from a pussy.
Also,
he did.
We missed an important point. After their meeting that he had with Gravik, when they leave, Talos is bumped into by this old English gentleman who drops something and says, "Oh, you dropped this phone, or this is yours." So he takes it and looks at it, and that's how he gets the information about the sub.
Right.
And that's his daughter gave it to him. She then Gravik comes out, sees this old British guy walking away, and he tries to follow, but there's like a van and another bus or something in the way. And then when he gets around the other side, it's Gaia waiting by the car. Mm-hmm. But so you know that it was her that was in the shape of an old man that dropped the phone. But it also puts the seed in your head that maybe Gravik suspects her of.
They've been putting those seeds throughout all of the whole season,
right? But it's an important scene because it shows that he knew that old guy there was something fishy about him, but then he just disappears and now she's there. So it's kind of a way for the audience to figure out that this is how Gravik is kind of catching on to her, maybe.
Well, I mean, even there's the scene where she was sleeping on the desk when he woke her up. He made the comment that the guy that they killed, the guy that was the American in the last episode, that he had no idea about that safe house. And he says it to her like, only a few people. He's blatantly saying like, I suspect you. Fucked. And it's like, if I were her, the moment he even like verbalized he had a suspicion, I'd be like, all right, I got to sneak out now. Like,
no, she made up a thing there. Like
she said that, he would make an educated guess under that kind of torture. Right. He would just guess, and he got lucky. You know,
I still think that'd be too close for comfort. And like if I were a real spy, I'd be like.
And then he said to her, "Well, what would you have done?" And she said, "Oh, I would have lied."
I would have lied.
Yeah.
And then she says, I'm a good liar.
Yeah, she says I'm a good liar. So
she just dug her own grave with that sentence.
But also, it also can put doubt into his mind. Like
that's true.
Like when she morphs back in from that British guy next to the car, there's actually no way he can prove that it was her. So it just leaves doubt in the viewer's mind and his. But it sets up, some things that come on later.
Here we are though. Now we're on a British sub because Gravik's scheme was to set up 3 of the Skrulls to take over the identities of 3 British sub operators and come on, take over a British sub
piloted with 1950s technology.
I'm looking at the sub though. I'm like, that is not what fucking subs look like. That's like Star Trek sub.
Well, maybe like I said, like in the World War II times, that's probably what they look like.
No, it even in modern times, it's
God,
nowhere even that big inside.
No,
right? That's like way too big. That's
nothing
like
on a sub that looks like this.
Yeah.
That's maybe a destroyer.
That is not any naval ship ever.
My biggest problem with this scene is that all of the crew are like in their late 50s, early 60s.
They're also wearing hats.
Yeah, they're wearing hats.
Stupid. You never wear a hat on board. And then this guy is telling the captain of the sub what he is supposed to be doing, which is kind of ridiculous.
Now, Roman. So these two key positions, from my knowledge, they're supposed to be far enough apart to where one person can't do it one person can't do both keys at the same time.
You mean because you have this?
Yeah.
Yes. You mean immediately right next to each other? You mean within like, I could just put a key in here, key in and do this, that kind of thing?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, no, like it's supposed to be a 2-man system for a freaking reason.
That's not how they do it on British subs. They do it different.
I guess not.
So they call, so Nick is now with Talos, and they know that they've got a problem on their hands within the British Navy. So they call, what is her name?
Okay, so
I just know her spy lady.
Okay, so this gal here, she is. I did not know how much I loved her. I love this actress, and she's
Olivia Colman. Yeah,
she's
the only person I like in this series. She's the only person who is competent.
Because I did not know it at first until I rewatched this, until I rewatched another film the other night. She's the voice of Mama Bear in Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, and she's hilarious. She has so much just chemistry. She's amazing.
A fabulous actress.
I loved her from Doctor Who.
Oh yeah,
which is where I first met her. She was in The Crown. She was brilliant in The Crown.
She's also in a show called Broadchurch, and she's
yes. Oh my God, she was so good in Broadchurch.
She's a little quirky, but she ends up just completely breaking your heart. Like,
no, she's a fantastic actress. In my opinion, if they chose properly to make a female doctor, not Jodie Whittaker, it would have been her.
Yeah.
But I already know what happened.
She would have been
wonderful. She turned down the role because she saw what was coming. So that's why I love Olivia Colman.
She's amazing.
So anyway, Nick contacts her. She says, "Hey, you fucked me over with this fucking thing on my owl." He's like, "What do you mean?" And she's like, "No, you fucking were bugging me, asshole." But she gives him the name of the British commander anyway, because she's a good MI6 agent. And then they find said British commander. This scene was really clunky, though.
It was.
They're trying to sneak into the compound, but they do a terrible job of it. It's like all gunshots and bullshit to get into the compound.
Let's even rewind for a second, because what they're trying to stop is the submarine's gonna shoot like a torpedo, a bomb, like whatever. They're gonna bomb the NATO plane.
It was
with a nuclear missile.
Yeah,
it's so dumb.
From a submarine
can't target moving targets like that.
Yeah.
Right.
They have pre-programmed coordinates because it doesn't have just one warhead on it. It's got multiple warheads that need individual targets. You would shoot it now. Can submarines shoot down airplanes? Absolutely. They have rockets or missiles that can do that. They're specifically designed to go to come out of the water and shoot down airplanes. But it's not nuclear tipped or anything. You don't need any of that stuff. It just didn't make any sense why you would use Yes. So we're in the back and forth scenes between the Skrull, who's now assumed the role of the whomever commander, and Nick Fury and Talos. And it's ridiculous. This whole exchange is ridiculous. And the deal in the sub itself is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So Nick's got his, he captures his son and says, "Hey, I'm going to fucking blow your son's brains out." Somehow this
okay.
Shieldwall.
I have a question. I have a question. If couldn't you so they just called Olivia Colman. So she has connections to the UN, so she knows what's going to happen. Can't she make a few calls and the plane just change course?
Right.
So that was my thing. They kind of explained the Olivia Colman thing of like she's kind of in timeout because she let a spy into her office where they were surveilling her, and now she's trying to clean up that mess. I get it. That's partially why she gave him the information of take care of this. But why didn't they just stop the plane? That's my big thing. Like, hey, there's a bomb threat.
Hey, plane, there's something going on with that sub that you're approaching. Detour.
Don't go that way.
Go someplace
Turn
else.
the fucking left. No, you're right. It's insane.
And even
I hated this scene.
keep in mind the head of NATO. The head of NATO is also a Skrull. So even though he's opposing Talos, they still have a relationship, and he's not going to know that a bomb, like a freaking nuclear bomb, is coming for him. So Talos could find a way to try. I mean, I get it, airplane mode, all that shit, but Talos could have at least been like, let me try to reach out to him to get his people to know.
Be like, do you know that you're about to die? No? Yeah. Okay, you're about to die.
Okay, so what we're saying is the pilot of that plane is Rickon Stark. He can't zigzag.
And Roman, you mentioned them infiltrating this house. The one thing that I kept thinking the entire time was one of the first lines is when Talos is impersonating the general outside. They're like, "Oh, we didn't see you come out." He's like, "Oh yeah, I gotta get away from the wife." You never see the wife.
Nope.
No, not once.
Where is she?
Not once.
Well, they didn't. Never mind. I'm not going to say it.
They never went to the budget.
kitchen.
She wasn't worth the $16,000.
They never went to the kitchen in the scene. So.
I'm gone. No. Oh no.
Oh, no.
That was great, Shield.
Yeah, that's how you didn't see her, or either that or the laundry room.
Well played, sir. Well played. And then they shoot the guy.
Right?
Before they get the information, they shoot the guy.
He's like, "Don't kill him," and then he's like, "I'm going to kill you." What?
Talos shoots him though. It's not even Nick Fury that does this. It's Talos.
Yeah, and let's be
literally just had a fight with Fury about how you're not supposed to kill him because we need him for the information.
If this show has taught me anything, Olivia Colman's character is the only one that knows how to torture somebody for info.
Yes.
Right. Yes.
Right. She is the only competent person in this whole series.
Oh, wait a minute. Dempsey makes a good point here. Because Fury still has the pager to contact Carol Danvers. And she can travel at light speed.
Or does he? Remember, this show that we're now after the blip. So I don't know if he has that pager anymore.
It was still
at Avengers.
Dempsey, we don't have the budget for Brie Larson here.
No, I'll be right back, guys.
What do you think we're made of money?
Give me a sec.
No,
it's crazy though to think about like the things that like the show should have shown. Like it is a Marvel show. It is in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Where is Doctor Strange? Where are the dude with the rings? I didn't even watch that movie, but the rings that
Shang-Chi.
Yeah, Shang-Chi. Where's he? Where are all these people?
Yeah,
where's Miss Marvel?
Aquafina could have showed up and did
again, that's why this show only works in its own its own micro universe here. It doesn't even work.
Right.
And by the way, so the submarine, do they have to go around the celestial that had come out of the ocean that is still there?
Yeah, they're apparently getting to that in future films.
Wait, wasn't that in the Pacific?
I can't.
Or was that in the Atlantic?
I don't know.
I thought it was in the Pacific. Is why
I'm sure the writers forgot that too.
Or it's like Southern Hemisphere or something.
Just to kind of speak on the I understand the disappointment of not having the heroes in this. I get it. They should be here. Clearly, if you're going to do a show, it's not going to happen because budget wise. But this is, and a lot of people don't know this. This is what was fucking a lot of these shows over is when Bob Chapek was running things, he had Kareem Daniel deciding. So it wasn't even a creative decision. He had some numbers guy deciding what was going to be a TV show, what was going to be a movie, and then what was actually going to come out. And then they just hired people to write it. So you had some schmo over here making creative decisions for this franchise, and this is the result. Whereas if you had a creative person actually making these decisions, this would have been a film. You would have had the heroes involved, and it'd be a very different story than what we're getting. Yeah. Is Namor?
Where's Wakanda? Where's Black Panther?
Well, isn't that actor persona non grata now? So, because he got in trouble or whatever.
He's in trouble too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just trying to throw out any names here of anyone who's ever been involved with the Marvel superheroes. Even like Agents of Shield. I didn't watch the show, but I'm not like.
We're the Thunderbolts.
That's
Right?
actually, if anything is a prevalent question, that's probably the most prevalent one. Yeah,
because this would be right up their alley.
I mean, they gave the response to try to like mull this over with Fury saying like, oh, we can't bring them in because if we do, they're going to start impersonating the heroes and taking the heroes. But why aren't they already? And that's the thing. That's something you can't write off. But look, my thing is, and this is all I'm saying, is you're not going to get it. Like you have your complaint, say your complaint, and then move on. Like saying it every week, people be like, okay, we know,
Mm-hmm.
we agree. Let's talk about the other shit that sucks now.
So the fact that they can't properly interrogate that guy and wind up killing him now causes them to have to call Gaia and say, hey, we in the next like 10 minutes or something, we're going to need you to
blow your cover.
Right, to blow your cover,
Absolutely blow your
get
cover.
the Admiral or whatever that guy's name is, the real guy that they got trapped in here, and go through his memories. So they do this, right? And she's like scrolling through, and all it is just images of his kid. And they're like,
Yes.
put his
And
name
now-
in the code. The code name is
That was
Raymond.
stupid as fuck.
Like any
now-
person could have figured that out.
And now to get
Yeah, that's true. Just look at a picture of on Facebook.
Anybody that
Dude,
watched
And
War
to
Games
get
could
to
be
this
like
guy-
Joshua.
Yeah.
and to get to this guy
Worst password ever.
to get to this guy, she has to kill a few
Guards.
folks, a few guards along the way. So her cover is blown. She's a dead woman
Totally blown.
right now.
The other thing is, I'll throw this to Roman and Shield. If you're gonna have a code word to release a nuclear missile, do you think they're gonna let either of you choose that word?
No, it's gonna be a long numeric code with numbers and letters and all kinds of stuff in it.
Yep, and it's gonna be in a briefcase, and there's
Something
gonna be multiple
random as fuck that
briefcases.
you actually have to read
Well,
out.
there's also like not going to be just one person who knows the code.
Well,
Like,
no, that's
'cause
what I'm
that's-
saying.
that-
Usually the code is gonna there's gonna be multiple people with multiple different codes, but a lot of
It'll
times
be-
they're not gonna know which.
Yeah, to
code-
identify what their position is.
Like
This is
I
the vice president. I have this
I
code.
can't speak to
Yes.
ships and how they operate, but I can speak to just our nuclear missiles in general around the U.S. Like they will, when they do a launch code, they will send out a code, and whoever's responsible for flipping the switch, if you only need 2 people, there's about 60 people flipping a switch, and you don't know if you're actually the person flipping the switch or not. You just know you have to. And then it's going to take off from somewhere. And just even if you hear it taking off from somewhere in your area, it doesn't mean you did it, because you don't know what your switch and your code went to. Like, it's so, I think I don't expect you to know that much, but at least know that this is retarded.
This was fucking stupid, though, Josh.
Sorry, Roman.
This was fucking stupid.
Mm-hmm.
This-
No,
this
agreed.
was
I
like
completely
the
agree.
worst.
This had the potential to be really cool, like a cool spy, like James Bond, Mission Impossible feeling thing.
A Bourne show, a Bourne entity or something.
Just some sort of spy show. It had the potential to be so
But it
cool.
just dumped.
Especially
So
with
she's
like
not-
a chameleon person who can literally switch their identity. How is a spy supposed to figure that out? Like that would have been so cool to really like dive into. But no.
Yeah,
I
they're
will-
not going to do that.
I will say Marvel has essentially told this type of spy story, and they did it in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They did it in season 4, and they did it. It's 10 times better. It's so well done.
And they
and
also did.
the fact that they could do it so well then and just
Right.
fuck it up so bad here.
Why didn't they just get the writers from like that season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and just use them to write this?
They're
Because-
probably on strike now.
because that was phases 1, 2, and 3, and phases 1, 2, and 3 don't exist.
Because it's a Whedon. It's a Whedon.
Right.
Right.
And also,
It was
those
also
were probably
successful.
all, white men that wrote those episodes.
Oh,
You mean successful episodes?
Yeah,
Let's,
I'm just saying.
let's not
And,
miss
they,
that.
and they've also done, as I said last week, they have also done a espionage project with folks with pretty much without superpowers in the Winter Soldier.
Yes. Winter Soldier,
Is
Joker, that's my
arguably-
favorite one.
And it is arguably the top 2. MCU
yeah.
films.
Definitely. That's my favorite of the Marvel films is Winter Soldier.
Mine
It
as
is.
well.
But they're hands down. So she does this whole fucking thing. She gets the passcode. She sends it to her dad. And then
her dad says, "Run."
Yeah,
What?
run. So then she gets on a motorcycle, which is poorly hidden
Run
outside
in a compound with hundreds of people literally watching you all the time.
And then she gets on the motorcycle. She gets on it. She jets out. And then down dirt road, a vehicle encounters her and she ditches the bike. She gets off the bike. And I actually don't have to slide here, so I have to apologize for that. And so fucking Gallbladder is pointing a gun at her right now.
Gallbladder.
And because she's going on and on and on and on, you know, how you won't do this because you need me, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, you know, fuck this, I don't. Boom. And shoots her. Like cold-blooded as he could. And then she goes back to fucking Skrull form.
Which means she's probably dead, but we all know how death is in most things.
Well, I would honestly think that Amelia, in my head canon here, Amelia Clark didn't even get through the rest of the script. It's like, just kill me off in that.
I was actually, this was the best part of the show.
Yeah, she ain't coming back.
When she caught this bullet in the chest, is because I was like, all right, finally, she's so dumb. You just get rid of her. Like, you know what I mean? Like all this stuff, not her necessarily, but the way she's written. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Right. And to be quite honest, this is not the role for her.
She was so underutilized here. And it was terrible. This could have been any actress. Actress.
Yeah. And who was it? I was watching Drinker and Mahler and someone else. And they say that, you know, Amelia Clark, they put her in these action or suspense action type roles, and that's just not her. I guess she's done some rom-coms where she's actually very good in them, and that's more her, the wheelhouse. Yeah.
I kind of have three comments on this particular scene. I agree with Shieldwall. I thought it was one of the best scenes in it. And I particularly liked when Gravik tells her turn around because he's going to shoot her like execution style. And she says, no, if you're going to kill me, you're going to look at me. I thought that was an excellent line.
I did too. I like that.
It was like the one time this episode that I was like, that is good writing. Unfortunately, you had another 56 minutes of not good writing. And I hated her escape from this because there was no tension. And had they built it up that she was trying to escape and getting caught by people on her way out and fighting her way through and then getting out. And if you had had her struggle until she cleared the gates.
That's true. She got out quite easily, didn't she?
Yeah. If she had struggled and then she finally got to the gates and cleared it and then didn't have anything there for a little bit. And you're like, oh, okay, good. She got away. She escaped. Good. And then let her have 5 to 10 seconds of her just riding off in the distance and have him sniper shoot her. Just
right. Yeah, that would have been so cool.
Because then you would have been like, okay, is she gonna make it? Is she gonna make it? Oh fuck yeah, she made it. And then
they build
tension. And then you're like, fuck you, you bastard.
Kind of like the last
building
scene.
tension. Fuck building tension in this. There's no need for that. That's good writing, and we don't do that in this series. Clearly.
But go ahead, Shieldwall, because I know you were going to say something.
Oh, I was going to say the last scene in House of Dragons where the dragons are fighting and then it looks like the one kid escaped and then boom, bitten in half.
Oh yeah,
kind of that kind of thing.
Great scene.
Yeah. The other thing I'll say is if you think she's actually gone from the show, you're crazy.
I know.
Right. That was my thought process of, she's just faking it. She's using here's what I'm thinking. She did get shot, but she just morphed herself to make him think that she died, but she's actually still alive. She's just bleeding out and she could possibly die.
No, because she's probably got the extremis as well.
That's what
I don't know if she does though, because she has to go through that whole fucking zigzag machine to get the extremis.
Right. Or they'll put her in the thing or something like that. They'll bring her back.
Or she's
what do you think Skrulls taste like? Pork? Chicken?
Has anyone ever had probably gator? Lizard?
Yeah,
gator
or
lizard.
lizard.
Or frog legs.
Okay.
Half
I'm kind of curious. Mildly curious. So that was kind of events. Unexpected number one happened, and then we go to this one where it's
That's
Priscilla.
a nice block.
Where you have to go through an hour's worth of.
I have to ask this for
your gun. That's the best way.
Why in the fuck did she have to do this to get her gun out of a security box?
Somebody didn't somebody have a manila folder
why?
like this in the beginning? I can't remember who was carrying it around. Was it Graphic?
Her. It was her.
It was her?
Oh,
okay.
But it was when they were like when they
at the diner, right?
In 98,
oh,
right?
And,
yeah, okay. So this doesn't make sense then, because I was under the assumption that she gets the key out of her little key bowl, goes there, opens it up, because the way she looks at it, it's like it's a surprise that it's in there. Like, oh, what's this? Whereas maybe I guess they were going for like
terrible writing.
I put this away for safekeeping, and I didn't want to pick it up again because I'm done with fighting or killing or whatever. And now she has to get the gun out. Because I was under the impression, like, my whole thing is that somebody is using her to do something and she doesn't want to do it. And they gave her the key and said, go open this box. And then she was surprised to find what's in there.
Yeah,
that's how I took it. The way she acted when she pulled all the stuff
she
out.
called the guy, so yeah, that would make sense.
That's how I took it too. Also, I'm wondering if the envelope is an identity.
Maybe.
Well, I thought the only thing in there was the gun.
She
got it out of the bag. Yeah, but that's what it was in the. It was in the bag.
Right.
The gun was in the bag. It was like the only thing in there.
So Tyler, why does she have this gun? Why does she have this gun now? Why could she not just go out and get this gun any fucking time?
I mean, that's a real nice block. That looks like a Glock 19. So I'd gladly take it, but I wouldn't put it in a safe deposit box, which is illegal, by the way. You're not allowed to do that.
Why would you put it in
stupid as fuck?
Where you got to go to the bank and all that stuff. That's
it's illegal. You are not allowed to have store firearms in a safe deposit box.
That's why I took it as somebody put it in there for her to retrieve, so she didn't know what it was.
Or why does she need to have a gun stored for her at all? She can pick up the gun at any location.
You want my theory on it?
Bank.
My theory on it is that somebody is coercing her into putting one in the back of Fury's head.
Nick. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we all know that she's gonna put one in Fury.
Well, he's.
Can we also talk about when she was walking to this bank to get into her safe deposit box, and you had the Skrulls that were clearly watching her, and it was the worst.
Oh my God.
Like surveillance ever, because they're like.
They're not hiding at all. All right.
They're just staring at her while she's walking. I mean, I feel uncomfortable too. Somebody just staring at me while I'm walking.
Make it obvious for for some of the viewers. At least that's the impression that I get.
For 7 viewers,
right? That Disney has about its viewership is that. See, the problem with this show is it's too complicated for like a 10-year-old to watch.
There's a lot of problems with this show,
but it's not complicated enough for an adult, so it doesn't really appeal to either.
But it has a higher viewership than Ms. Marvel did.
Well, duh, because
Ms.
Ms.
Marvel
Marvel was
so does this show, which is
also Ms. Marvel was for like 5-year-olds.
Oh wait, you're talking about the new show, right, or the movie?
Yeah, the show.
Ms. Marvel, yeah, because it was a very niche show.
Right,
3 episodes
was fine.
3 episodes in, Ms. Marvel was a better show than this.
Yes, and I like the family dynamic better.
So,
her mom and dad and her
was
really good.
Actually, I will say, I will say that as a complete story, the Miss Marvel show is the best show that Marvel's done from the Disney Plus shows.
Disney Plus. You need to throw that in.
Yeah. From the Disney.
That's an important fucking specification.
I'd give it to WandaVision, but
I can't.
WandaVision fell off too much for me at the end.
Yeah, those last 4.
I
actually liked
those last 4.
I liked What If better. I like the What If show better.
Oh no.
Yeah, that was.
I know. People hate it, and I
like back in the day when you turned to the wrong channel and it was just like static. That would be better.
But the Miss
and then
Miss
then
Marvel,
you got bitch on the phone, and then she's like, "I need to speak to Graphic," and then some dude at the end who you don't know
sucked. Moon Man.
Well, you're speaking to me, and that's it.
I hear the werewolf one was pretty good.
Wait, do you really not know who that
Those
was?
That
are
it's his
special.
number 2
Agreed.
dude, the bald dude in the beginning. I think that's who she's talking to.
No, it's Rhodey, guys. That is so clearly Don
Oh.
Cheadle's voice.
Is that real? Is that Rhodey?
That would
I
explain
brought-
why he's in the previously, because they mentioned him and didn't show him anywhere.
And I didn't pick up on this until this episode. I'm kind of mad at myself. But in the last episode, Rhodey calls Fury Nick. And what did we learn about Fury?
That's right.
No one calls Rhodey Nick.
Look at you. Look at you paying attention to this
You
stuff.
paying
at that.
attention?
I try. I try to
Well done,
find
sir.
something. to
It's always
say.
good when someone's paying attention to dog shit.
And see, that's what I'm talking about. Like, so they put that in there for people to notice, and then they beat you over the head with, look, these guys are following her.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
But yeah,
interesting.
I thought I was happy because the fact that Nick Fury came in so early in this episode to say there's someone higher up that's a Skrull in the U.S. government. It's him saying it's Rhodey, and I know it's Rhodey because of what happened, and I'm already like trying to get 3
Right.
steps ahead. I need you to catch up with me. But they had to have the whole like husband and wife drama between him and Talos.
well, that
And-
really made me think
yeah.
for a minute there that,
Oh,
that
which
Fury
that
was a
little boy.
Skrull for a second.
Which and this whole Talos and Nick and the whole Talos and Nick going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, which I know that there have been some online folks who have said that Marvel has missed an opportunity and that they were upset that Nick Fury was married when
Because
They
they
thought-
were trying to ship him.
yep
Oh God, no!
Who are they
Look.
trying to ship him with?
Everyone?
Fury and Talos.
Talos and Nick.
Yeah.
Of course
Yeah.
they
They're having-
were,
they're having
because
a lover
everyone's got to be
quarrel.
gay or lesbian or trans or.
What?
It would have made the episode more interesting. I will.
That,
agree.
that's
no,
also
it
a
would've
question. I
worked.
don't know that
No.
much about Skrulls, but can
They
Skrulls
turned into
Can they
Back
swap
Invasion or
genders?
something.
when they change?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
If
That
they
was a
did
question we
change.
asked last week, and I
No one
No,
knows.
we didn't know if they'd have the same anatomy. Yes, they can swap genders because they did it in the Captain Marvel movie.
Right. Okay. Yeah. All right. So, okay.
Yeah,
Which no one saw.
I hate this whole idea that straight guys cannot be really good friends.
Right.
And I hate this idea that like people in this day and age refuse to believe that these two guys that have worked together pretty much
Yeah.
undercover for 30 plus years can't have a like, I don't want to say loving, but like a loving kid. Like they care about each other,
a
Right.
But they're
platonic,
not-
a
yeah.
close
No, a
platonic
close
relationship.
but they're not fucking homos.
Right.
And I'm a homo saying that. Like, come on, people.
No, I have friends who I've known, who have been both military and then cross over to civilian comrades, who I love as brothers,
Yeah.
and we actually embrace. You know, I'm not even ashamed to admit it. We embrace when we greet and when we part, because that's
you guys
the
like have your pants
relationship
on the
that we
whole
have
time.
developed. We're just, you know,
Yeah. According to the writer for
requirement?
this show, that you don't.
well, apparently I
Yeah.
We
But no,
hug
I
and
mean,
then we put our
it's
pants
just-
back on, and then we go about our day. Yeah.
And this and I will say that because Roman gives great hugs.
I do.
Hey,
I'm a good
Josh,
hugger.
that's actually a good point about the two guys just being friends, because they have women and they're just friends all over the place.
Right.
Like the plot of the Marvels is that.
Yep.
That's interesting.
For fuck's sake. So let's take a look here. We're gonna dive into new horrible things,
Oh no.
and you're gonna hate me for this. So we're gonna look first at Comic-Con San Diego, and I'm jumping down to a paragraph. This is brought to us by the San Diego Union Tribune, so you may get credit for this. This is your story, but it talks about the next studio that drops out. DC also isn't coming anymore.
Right.
So on top of DC, it's HBO, Netflix, Marvel, Lucasfilm, Universal, Jesus, Sony, Disney. Is anybody going to fucking Comic-Con
It's
this year?
because
Nope.
who's going to be on their panels? Like
Well, yeah, because
the accountants.
Because of the
yeah,
strike.
Yeah.
because of the
Yeah, because of the strike.
and
Exactly.
there's also the pending actor strike too.
Right.
It's not pending. It's in full effect right now.
And that's the main reason they wouldn't have any talent there. What are you,
Yeah.
you gonna get the accountant for the show on to be
Oh,
on?
let's
So
bring it-
you've killed the thing of it is, and none of these people are thinking about that though, is you are now killing the restaurants, the hotels.
Mhm.
Right.
You are killing the small businesses that actually depend on your bullshit business.
Is this the first
That's what you're
Comic-Con
doing.
since the pandemic?
No, they
No,
did
this
one
is
in-
the third Comic-Con since the
Yeah.
pandemic,
So they had
Well,
one
I
in
mean-
2020 and
or
21?
the second.
No, they had
No, they had one in
2021.
2021. I didn't go
2022 and
because
Okay.
they
Oh,
decided they
21
wanted to
was the first
do
one. Okay.
face fucking
Yeah.
No.
shit.
Um,
And I was like, fuck off.
now, if-
And then
Isn't it still a big deal though? I mean, because the studios is like a small part of it, right? I mean, I've never been to that particular Comic-Con.
no,
but
no,
I've
no.
been
The
to
Hall
that.
H.
Hall H stuff is a
It's
big
all about
deal,
Hall H.
Josh.
Yeah.
It's all
But
about
no,
Hall H.
it's not though. Comic-Con takes
No.
up the entire fucking convention.
Right.
Yeah, there's Comic Cons all over the country.
Huge. It is huge.
That fill up
The
convention
convention
centers
center
everywhere.
stretches for blocks and blocks and blocks,
Yeah.
and you walk all that shit.
Now,
But Hall
I
H
also
is where the
Big
the
dick
magic
news
The
are.
is.
publicity stuff goes, but yeah, I mean, a lot of people go and buy comics and dress up and stuff like that. Just like
Now,
every other
So-
time.
Yeah.
I also think that this is also becoming a part of the studio culture because Disney has basically their own Comic-Con. They've got D23.
That's true. Yeah, that you can control,
Lucasfilm.
That's not Comic-Con. It's not Comic-Con.
but you
I
still get the same.
I didn't say it was, but I'm saying it's. But I'm saying it is completely theirs, so they
Yeah.
don't have to share.
It is,
in
but
space.
normies are not invited to that. Normies go to Comic-Con. Regular people, anyone can go to Comic-Con.
Okay.
D23 is that? What the fuck is that?
I
Have you,
agree
have
with
you
you.
gotten your tickets for that? Have you
I mean,
seen
it's
tickets for that?
definitely a safer bet to go to your own Comic-Con thing and something
Right.
you have your own. You know, you have
Because
control
Lucasfilm
over all
has-
that stuff.
Because Lucasfilm has Star Wars Celebration.
Yeah.
Swell.
And then also you have the prime spot if it's your own. If it's Comic-Con, you got to battle it out with all the other studios and stuff like that.
So, but
Yeah,
I'm-
but Comic-Con everyone goes to. That's the thing. It's a giant fucking event, especially San Diego. San Diego is the event.
I
of
don't
the
think
year.
I don't think it is though. I mean, because after
I
they
think
come
you're
out,
wrong,
hold on,
Tyler.
hold on.
I don't think
After-
you understand how big the event is.
Yeah,
Hold
it's
on.
massive.
After the trailer comes out, I mean, it's online in like an hour or two.
But a
I don't think
lot
you
of
have to actually go to the event.
So when you're having like these big panels, these big shows, you're seeing 30% of the stuff they'll
Correct.
move to online. There's a lot of stuff that like teaser reels and stuff that they'll show that they
Yeah.
don't release online. So that is kind of like the
But they're
draw.
still online if you know.
right, and there's also
Look around.
now San Diego is the mecca of all
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now,
Sure.
but there is still, but there's still MegaCon. There's still the Dragon Con in
Yeah,
Orlando.
they're all the other cons.
Yeah.
Quite honestly, they're
It's-
kind of the retarded cousins of Comic-Con, though. No
So-
one cares.
So when you've got all these other cons, they're just considered local Comic Cons, and yeah, they might get some decent talent coming in. San Diego and New York, but New York doesn't get as big because
Yeah.
they don't have the space. They are
Screw New
actually
York, yeah.
international Comic Con, so they purposely bring in media from all over the world to cover this,
Correct.
and because they're doing that, your studios put way more money into it. And
Right.
like if you've ever seen the convention center, it's massive. And yes, you can say
Oh,
like, hey,
it's-
that
Yeah,
it's that
fucking
convention center is
crazy.
big, but it goes beyond that because they have like
Out in the street,
immersive
it takes over a
experiences.
large part of downtown
Correct.
San Diego itself.
Yeah. So these studios, they put a shit ton of money into it. And the problem is since probably about 20 years now, the studios have been taking over more and more and more, that they're the draw now. And yeah, you still have comics and stuff, but even if you
Yeah.
go on the convention floor, you've got a Warner Brothers booth and it's
Yes.
Right.
massive.
They're
And you have,
giant.
like,
They're giant.
Disney
The booths
booth,
from
and
the
it's-
companies are giant.
Yeah.
So
Um,
I mean, because I go to the one in Salt Lake, and yes, it's a smaller one, but it is a big event. out there.
That's what I was gonna say. Like the ones in Kansas City and St. Louis, they're still big events, but obviously,
Yeah, there's one in
presenting,
Northwest Arkansas, like kind of in my area, that like it takes up a pretty big convention center.
Yeah, they have like
I mean, it's a small convention center, but it takes up most of that.
I think they had the Red Ranger there this year or something.
I just want someone. I mean, maybe Marvel can just send Kevin Feige, and we could all bring him some chapstick.
So the consensus is that this will somewhat affect it, but it's not going to like destroy the Comic-Con or anything.
Actually,
Well, Comic-Con started a long time ago with
Josh.
super nerds.
You've been to San Diego Comic-Con.
I used to work. Yeah, I've worked San Diego Comic-Con like quite a few years. It's going to drastically hurt because what the problem is, most of the people that actually come to the convention now are coming for those studio things, and it's not even we're talking about Hall H, but it's so much more. You've got all the TV shows are usually there. They're just in smaller ballrooms. They've got stuff going on all weekend. So once you take once you take the big tentpole movie studios away, you've got the smaller movie studios with this, or even the big studios with the smaller movies, take them away, take the networks away. Like you're taking the draw.
You got big empty spaces is what you have.
And what's bad is like, people probably bought their tickets and they're like, well, fuck, I already bought my ticket. Well, the tickets aren't that expensive. They probably spent like $60-$70 for the weekend just for their tickets. The costly part is hotels. Like you're looking at $400 or $500 a night in some cases.
Bro, those hotels are going to lose out on a lot of money.
So you've got these people
drivers and all the restaurants, all that stuff.
You've got these people that are probably like, man, the whole reason I was going was to see these panels for these shows. I'm not going anymore, or to meet these actors. I'm not going anymore. So then they're like, cancel my hotel because I've got up until 24 hours.
Yeah, you lose your money for the
and
tickets.
Yeah,
but and you get your money back on all your other bullshit. But the peripheral economy is the one that suffers.
Yeah,
like I said, restaurants, Uber, all that, hotels, all that shit suffers big time because this is their big red time of it, where they're making all their money back. Is this time of year in San Diego, because that's the gold standard is Comic-Con.
Well, there was one year, Roman, where San Diego was doing quite nicely because you had Comic-Con, and then in the same summer you had the Major League All-Star game.
Yeah, but that's not this year.
I know it's not this year. I'm just saying.
This year is big shit show after COVID. We're still having Comic-Con. No one's
you're still in California.
I didn't go to Comic-Con last year because they were still holding on to standards, which I wasn't going to.
Doesn't sound like a good time.
I lost my ticket price and my son's because I didn't want to go because I'm not fucking supporting that stuff
to me at all.
And you're still in California.
I would go for free.
It's
but the weather is still better than most of you have most of the time.
And I don't even think most people don't even get into the Hall H, right? It's like really.
Oh no, you literally have to spend the night outside. You have to get in line the day before.
Oh, yeah. I don't do
Hall H. I never do that.
Super crowded, and you got to spend a day to go see a trailer that may be good. I'll wait till it shows up on YouTube the day later.
Yeah, you have to be really committed for that stuff. I'm not that committed.
The first year I worked Comic-Con, I was working for a publisher, and we were going to be covering the news. When we were planning for it, they sent an email out to the group. We're like, "Who wants to cover Hall H?" And I didn't put my name in there because it was my first year writing for this company, and then no one was taking it. And I was like, "What's up with these? You guys are stupid." You know why? So then I'm like, "Yo, I'll do it." So then I get out there and realize, oh shit, I have to spend the night outside. That way I can make sure I get in. It was the worst. But I worked out a system. Another one of the guys who had been through it before was like, listen, I'll come hold your place in line. You can run to the hotel, shower, come back. That way you don't smell like shit all day. Well, maybe 5 other people did that. It smells like BO and cooch bad in that room. It smells so bad.
What do they call it?
I hate this
crud or something.
Well, no, like what the problem is, I hate this stereotype, but the stereotype's there for a reason. Most anime nerds and nerds in general, for some reason, have a hygiene problem where they don't shower regularly.
No, that's not true, Mando. Stop lying to people.
Joker.
I mean, this was strictly people were lining up at 9 and 10 p.m. at night so they could get in at 8 a.m. in the morning. That's literally all this was.
So
what if anyone's going to smell, especially if you then stay in that building all day long?
Right. You're a little gamey.
Yeah.
So what if say Comic-Con got desperate and just said, you know what? Should we extend it?
They don't care.
Should we extend an invitation to FNT?
I don't think they'll ever get that desperate. I think they will let everything burn down to the ground before they invite
FNT. Make
FNT.
up for no Warner Brothers and Marvel.
What was that?
I said, you think that would make up for no Warner Brothers and no
No,
Marvel?
not at all.
Not yet.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
so that's just Comic-Con. That's just Comic-Con.
Yeah, again,
So
we're
look at
saying
movies. Let's look at movies this weekend.
okay.
This I found fucking hilarious. This was like my favorite thing that I dialed into. I was like, oh my God, this is so fucking horrible. So Indiana Jones made nothing. It made nothing over the weekend. That's their big ticket movie. Disney. But then I looked at it, I'm like, where's the Flash? I'm like, something I haven't heard of. Fucking Spider-Man's still in there. Oh my God. Something I haven't heard of.
Elemental was the Pixar movie.
That something I haven't heard of. Little Mermaid is still hanging in there. Jesus Christ. And then the fucking Flash at number fucking 8.
And
it
Guardians.
has
8.
Batman in
God.
it. It has freaking Michael Keaton Batman in it. How the fuck is it still there when it has freaking the GOAT Michael Keaton as Batman?
Because he's not the
Number
GOAT.
Because it had two Ezra Millers, which easily cancel out of Michael Keaton.
Yes, that cancels out Michael Keaton.
And every little line.
I was just blown away by this shit, guys.
I'll tell you what I am more surprised at. Guardians still hanging on. Guardians is
at number 10. At number 10, Guardians is still there. Well, the Flash that had it was the movie. That was the fucking movie that they were depending on at DC. Takes this giant dinosaur shit in the box.
They knew it was going to fail.
Hey, Joker, I will tell you, I think you were the one of them who said it about Guardians being good. I was going to watch Indy, and then I heard how bad it was and ended up watching Guardians this week because you got and it was really good.
Josh, did you watch Indy? Did you actually go to Indy?
No,
you haven't seen it.
Like all the other Marvel crap.
So people have been talking about fan backlash and why people aren't seeing the movie. Here's the deal. I trust certain people to give me info. Like, I trust Gary, I trust Chris Gore. There are a lot of people out there in the business who I trust. And when they tell me a movie is bad, why do I want to spend 20 of my hard-earned dollars plus another $20 on popcorn, some jerk-off soda, something that some fucking youngster is fucking spooned in?
What theater are you going to where you get jerk-off soda?
Yeah, I've never.
You haven't gotten that?
Going to the theater like on
every
the
theater you've ever been to has jerk-off soda.
That soda's a little extra.
You got to
I have been to the Tomcat Theater. If people know what that is, even there, it was. But even there, I didn't get a jerk-off soda.
Robin, I never spent.
You're going to the wrong theater or the right theater. I don't know.
I go to matinees for $6.
So anyway,
I agree, Roman. If people you respect say that, I mean, you're just gonna kind of
no, because it is. I will. It's like if they're like this movie is great, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna give it a chance, but my circle is pretty small of people who I actually trust in the movie business.
And that's actually why I went to see Guardians, was because everybody said it was good.
Right. Like our circle. I don't go to Rotten Tomatoes and they say, no, we have a 97% rate on why this movie is good. I look at what's Gary saying, what's Chris Gore saying, what's
also saying, word of mouth.
The Drinker. Those guys are the guys I trust.
I don't think anybody's going to Rotten Tomatoes for the.
That's what happened to. That's what helped Guardians was word of mouth. I was not going to see it until I heard it was good,
and
then
it's
I
good,
went.
You'll go.
And
right,
and also, Rotten Tomatoes is a totally compromised site. It's completely
it's a horror site.
It's completely worthless.
So horrors go to fucking get their movies made.
I will say though, when you have, and this is the only thing I'll say to Rotten Tomatoes, when you have the critics saying something's bad, and then you have
Right.
the YouTuber saying something is bad, you know that's a big pile of dog shit.
That's a big bag.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's
And
true.
the other thing
There's
I'll
very
say,
little that can bring them together.
Well, okay. So as far as the critics go, I look at the top critic score because those are the folks that are pretty much safe, and Disney or whoever can't influence them.
The trend that I usually saw with especially Rotten Tomatoes is the professional critics would say, "Oh, this movie's garbage. It's not any good." You'd go see the audience score and it'd be in the 90s. You go see the movie and it was a good movie.
Like
and
Mario.
Then, or
Yeah,
they
that's
would
a good.
say
That's a good gauge.
the
That is a
professional
good
critics
gauge.
would say that it's a great movie, it's awesome, and the audience score would be bad.
So let's take a look. I'll pull it up now. I'm kind of curious to see because I don't know what Rotten Tomatoes says about Indiana Jones.
So usually that meant
85.
the
Like
audience
85,
score said it was
88%.
bad. That meant that it was bad. But if both say it's bad, that's a bad movie.
Mhm.
But you can't even trust it anymore because they're culling ratings, and there's bots, and there's people
And they're
doing
changing their
stuff to it.
algorithms all the time.
Changing their algorithm, yeah. So you just
Okay,
can't tell.
so let's take a look at the wow. Look at this. So it's actually still not great. And I think that's wildly inaccurate. So 68 on
Really?
the
Wow.
professional side, 88 on the fan side.
Do a click on
Wow.
80
okay,
fucking
well-
8.
Okay,
Really?
well, Roman, go back to that. Go back to that. Go back to that screen you just had. Okay, and now click on the 68, and now look at top critics.
200.
Click on
That's
top.
really Jesus,
Okay.
243?
Click on.
Versus-
Okay, now go click on top critics. That's all critics, top critics. Boom.
Oh,
yeah, so that's typically your legit
Right.
ish movie critics, and not
Right.
like the websites and stuff that are trying
So
And
to.
if you
fifty-
do
Oh, the
that,
audience is
What about the all
88%.
audience? I want to see that all audience.
I don't understand that. So 81%. I still don't understand that. That's
What?
still way higher score than I would give that
it's how
movie.
they because
Wow.
it's how they skew it. Whereas the top critics are, like Joker Voice was saying, are the ones that they're kind of so powerful that really, if they give it a bad rating, nothing's going to happen to them. Where the other ones might just be
They want
somebody
access.
from like
They want
some
access.
local
Really?
paper or
Wow.
something. Yeah, they
The
want
premiere
access.
and all
Well,
that.
that's some
Right.
fucking bullshit, is what that
Yeah,
is.
And the same thing goes
MarvelFanshow.com.
for the audience score. The verified ones are people that are like having a verified identity, where the other ones could just
A
be
verified
bots or
fan.
something.
These are verified Fandango
Oh,
accounts.
I
Right,
wanted
it
to
is.
share this. This is something I wanted to share about the Indiana Jones films because I thought it was funny. So this is from Screen Rant. You get credit for this, Screen Rant.
She'll say.
Even though it is stupid and gay. So I'm gonna share this, so it's fucking hilarious.
But it's not scissoring gay, is it?
It's probably scissoring gay. So share. So this is 10 reasons the movie failed. The budget gave it a huge office challenge. Well,
That's
here's
true.
a theory, wizards. Don't spend $300 million making a movie because that's
and
stupid.
200, and then don't spend 200 million on the marketing.
Hey, Joker, how much did they spend on Casablanca? Do you have that number in your head?
Not off the top of my head.
You know what? I bet it wasn't.
300
$300 million. So the next thing is Kingdom of the Crystal Skull made people skeptical of more Indiana Jones.
Yeah,
Jeez,
that's
I wonder why
true.
the fuck that is. Is that because that was a
true.
fucking horrible movie?
It
Jeez,
was.
tell me why, critics.
Well,
So that's
and
2 for 2.
the comparison that they've been making, that they've been making in the trades is another July 4th the weekend release, and that was Superman Returns, because they are just because they are comparing just the raw dollar amount. If you adjust it for inflation,
Today. Yes.
Superman
Finger loss.
Returns kicks its ass.
How can you compare two movies that are that far apart and not adjust for inflation? Like you have, like Casablanca, you'd have to adjust for inflation.
Inflation shield wall.
That's the only way that you could compare Indiana Jones with it. It's so, you know what I mean? Because like
it's a good faith argument.
A freaking hamburger cost like 10 cents back then.
Yeah.
There we go. Casablanca costs about $1 million. That's what Shield.
Yeah, Southern Katie in my chat also talked about the Southern the 1 million
so that
budget.
was really a big budget film in its day, and you know it was. I mean, it's Casablanca.
Even adjusted for inflation, though, 1 million is not as much as 300. There's no way. It's like, significantly less.
Like $50 million or something.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, it'd be something close to that. It wouldn't be anywhere near what.
But also, it's a really good movie, and it didn't need half the budget that this movie needed.
Because you want to talk about conversational films? That was a conversational film. All that was dialogue. All that was dialogue.
True. Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but when you adjust for inflation, Gone with the Wind is still the highest grossing film of all time.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know nothing about Gone with the Wind.
Indiana Jones without having Spielberg directing, I don't really think that that's a factor. I think
I don't think so either. That's a stupid.
That's not turning people off.
Stiff competition at the box
Stiff
office.
Competition.
Yeah, what?
It's a freaking Indiana Jones movie. It's an Indiana Jones movie.
Well, what other movies came out?
With was Guardians and Spider-Man. Those were the only two.
Guys, it had to do with Fast X, John Wick, Chapter 4.
All those movies were already debuted.
Super Mario Brothers.
No. Those movies were already out.
Are you
They've been out. Like I think, I will say, I actually really enjoyed the Dungeons and Dragons movie. I've seen it. I did enjoy it. It's better than probably what this crap is.
It is.
Well, because they don't want to mention that next weekend it's gonna get absolutely destroyed by Tom Cruise.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Oh,
that
next weekend it's gonna go crazy, and they're gonna go, "How did this happen? What happened?
But
why did this movie make more money than this movie?"
But all these other movies like
Fast X, gave John Wick, and wanted to go see it.
Some of those movies.
That's the problem with these movies. No one gives a fuck.
Some of these movies are already out on Blu-ray.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
for months.
Wow,
so
John Wick is one of those. John Wick 4 I saw, which is also a fabulous movie.
I will say. I do think June was too crowded for box office. I think they had too many blockbusters just week after week after week. They should have spread them out.
E.T., The Thing, Wrath of Khan. Hang on, I'm just getting started. No, it's not. That's a stupid argument because back in the day when old people like myself used to go to the theater, you would have literally 10 movies on the monocle that you would want to marquee that you would want to go see. Yep. And all of them were fighting for your attention, and you would go see every fucking one of them because every one of them was a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, there are no good movies on the marquee. You go and you're like, okay, what's the worst? The worst movie on the marquee?
There is I was going to say this earlier. There's a really good movie that's out right now that if you're going to go see, Sound of Freedom. Yeah, if you're going to go see a movie this weekend, please go see it. And actually,
yes,
it's a little indie. Well, I don't want to say it's an indie film. It was a Fox film that then Disney inherited and then shelved, and you had a smaller studio come by it to distribute it.
See Sound of Freedom.
And it's in half the amount of theaters as Indiana Jones right now, and some of the weekdays so far, it's been pulling in a bigger box office than Indiana Jones.
Yeah, it beat them on the 4th.
Yeah. No,
there's also an animated thing. It's like Kraken.
Yeah.
Oh,
the
yeah.
DreamWorks movie.
Yeah. Teenage Kraken.
Teenage Kraken, yeah. Which actually, I don't know if it's doing good or not, but the
Joker's favorite movie.
But at least the poster looked interesting.
So there are two movies I would arguably go see now. Sound of Freedom is of the topic which no one wants to talk about. That's the trafficking of children, which no one wants to talk about. No one's talking about, but it's there. Mel Gibson was involved.
That would expose Hollywood.
Right.
You're going to see things you don't want to see in this movie.
Yeah. And a lot of the kids these days, you don't want to be trapped.
It's important.
They're just kind of jerks.
And the other movie that's out there, it's another indie film, is Nefarious.
Yeah.
Those two movies, if you only see those two movies over the summer, you've done better than you have over summers in a very long time.
Well, I think this new Mission Impossible movie is going to savage every other movie out there.
Oh, it is. It is. It's going to fucking brutalize these. Hey, this is a legacy thing too. Now, Tom Cruise doesn't fucking play this shit.
And then
it doesn't appeal to much younger audiences. Are you fucking kidding, Hollywood? You can't make a movie that appeals to fucking 20-year-olds to fucking 40-year-olds. It doesn't appeal to much. What are you saying? It appeals to fucking 80-year-olds? Fuck you. You're fucking wrong. You're doing a bad job about making movies. It's fine. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, there was some meetings at Lucasfilm. No, with Lucasfilm. They got called off vacation. That was it?
Good
Alan,
point. Oh my God. Good one. Sisu was good.
Was it Alan Bergman? Basically said if you are on vacation, you have 16 hours to get stateside, and you're meeting in Burbank, and these are all Lucasfilm execs. So there's going to be some. They're going to meet the Bobs and have to explain why they have a job.
What?
Oh yeah, they're gonna have to meet the Bobs. So what would you say?
Oh yeah, they're gonna be like, so it's
I'm in charge of
what is it you actually do here?
What would you say you do here?
Yes.
Why are you breathing the same air as me right now?
I have people skills. Don't you understand?
This one is stupid. Indiana Jones story leaks could have put audiences off. Well, do you think when they say Indiana Jones is not going to be Indiana Jones anymore, and they're going to put Phoebe Waller fucking faceplant in her place?
It also doesn't help. It also doesn't help when all the story leaks were right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly.
That's also true. Yeah. By this point, we know they were all right. So Cannes was a fucking disaster. We know that.
That was bad. No. Ooh, I do not.
Cannes was not good.
I do not understand why you would lift Argo a month and a half before its major release.
I think you skipped one, Roman. What was the one before this one?
It was the Cans.
Oh, that was
that was Cannes. Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Con?
So then we go down
I thought they were talking about
2020
Phoebe Waller's Cannes.
movies are underperforming at the box office. Why the fuck do you
that's
think
'cause
that
they
is?
suck.
Because you're making bad fucking movies. That's why you're underperforming at the box office.
Mario made $1 billion.
You haven't put out Iron Man.
Like a month
You
ago.
haven't put out the Hulk, which is arguably not great. You haven't put out, Captain America.
I would argue that the Warner Brothers and Disney, with the exception of a few films that are holdovers from other regimes, I'd say Universal's doing quite well right now.
So what happened? Joker, what happened with Top Gun Maverick? Why was that popular?
$1.3 billion.
So somehow that movie made a whole bunch of money.
It was.
I doubt that it had anything to do with Tom Cruise saying, "Hey, we want the audience to watch this because we care about the audience."
Yeah,
and
yes, he actually talked to the audience,
and it was.
And he talked to the audience of Mission Impossible as well. He speaks to the audience. He actually talks.
And by the way, you guys were talking about the whole trope of like the old broken down guy who can't do it anymore. Top Gun was one of those that started out like that, but ended up pulling off really well.
Mm-hmm.
And it was
you can do it pretty well. You just can't drag him through the mud the entire 2.5 hours.
and it was noticeably absent of the message.
Yeah, it was just a good.
It was just a fun movie.
Well,
It's a
one
fun
of my
popcorn
favorite
flick.
lines was when the admiral was talking to him and said, "You should be a 2-star admiral by now."
Mhm.
And
You're not wrong, Pops.
and Mitchell replied, "That's one of the great mysteries of life, sir." He knows exactly
Yeah.
why.
And that was
Because he was flying with his. Quite honestly, that this in reality he could never have achieved that rank.
No, come on now. Mom.
But he was flying with his balls out, and he was like, I just want to fly. I want to fly. I don't want to manage. I want to fly. That's why he was a captain instead of an admiral.
And what sets him apart from the other characters is when somebody says you're old and broken, he turns it around on him and says, "I'm going to show you that I'm the best still."
Yeah,
and he does.
Not yet.
He still does.
Skywalker didn't do it. Indy didn't
No.
do it.
They didn't
Han
give a
Solo
fuck,
didn't do
man.
it. Yeah.
Honored
They
the
didn't
character,
give a
but also
fuck.
brought in new characters. Like, it was a perfect bridge between the old and new. It made you like, we still remember the old characters, and Mav is still the best. But these up and coming kids might, might come after him and, take his spot.
And he also had, knowledge to pass on, and people actually wanted to learn it.
Right, he mentored them. He gave them. He showed them that it could be done. They're like, "There's no way we can do this." And
Yeah. Well, let me show you.
People who didn't fucking like each other.
Ego. That's almost. I mean, it's going to get beat by. Is anything else coming out between now and Mission Impossible?
No.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it's.
You mean anything that matters?
Mission Impossible. Mission Impossible is going to get at least 60 million, and they're going to drop down. So.
The other franchise already said goodbye to Indiana Jones. They're talking about Crystal Skull. No one cares.
No, I think they're talking about Last Crusade.
They're talking and Last Crusade.
No, they're not though, because they actually talk about Crystal Skull.
Oh, okay.
Because they talk about they do say.
Well, they should have said goodbye to Indiana Jones
and Crystal Skull. But fuck off, Crystal Skull. That was stupid. That movie should never have happened. That was a terrible movie. No one liked it. Last Crusade should have been the movie.
That was a good ending to it.
This is like weird. I don't even understand this. Indiana Jones needed a fuck off thing on top of my screen. Needed a full reboot more than it needed Harrison Ford.
No, it just needed to be left alone.
This is arguable. I'm going to let this one go for a sec here. I'm going to.
Or you could do like a young Indiana Jones or something like that without.
No, that's what I'm saying. So, Chris Pratt.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Would actually make a very good younger.
I agree.
Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
I agree.
One of the things I think Pop said this also. Which
do it.
No, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you, man. Go ahead.
No, do it.
Oh, I was just gonna say one of the things that they didn't have in that article was what Pop said here. Movies too long, which is true. But then they also go to streaming so soon that you just wait 2 months and it's going to be on Disney Plus for no extra charge. So. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. Yeah, my take on this, and my take on this is the same as it is on James Bond. And many people won't like this. I like period pieces. They could put James Bond, young James Bond, not black female James Bond, but James Bond, actual who he's supposed to be, doing period pieces back in World War II, the Cold War. All these things, you could have a fun bit doing James Bond back then with a younger actor playing James Bond, and you could play all this stuff off. It would be fucking fantastic. You know what you could do that with as well? Indiana fucking Jones. My camera fell when I got angry.
Make it easy, Roman. Whoa.
It's like, but you could do the same thing with Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
You could make a good series of films with a younger Indiana Jones doing period pieces where he's back fighting the fucking Nazis. He's in the 50s doing whatever, but it's period stuff where you're not doing these trying to drag him forward to the future. He's in whatever period he's in, just doing the fucking thing.
There's like a big gap.
Why not?
Between like the young Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark, right? Isn't there like a big gap in there where you could?
The young Indiana Jones takes place in World War I, so he's super young.
So there's like probably 10,
1918 or so.
Right. He's because in 1912 he was 14 or however old he was when he's on the train and with the snakes and he gets the scar
Right, yeah.
and all that.
Gets
and
the
then
hat.
right. So he's in his prime, like late teen, early 20 years for World War One. And he in the show he like hooks up with this Belgian guy and they do these secret missions and all this stuff. And
there's a lot of things that would have been really
yeah.
good.
But you have the whole 20s that he could be doing adventures in. And we're talking like that's when the tomb of Tutankhamun was discovered, 1922.
You put Indiana Jones in
big...
the Roaring 20s, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Why could you not do that? You could.
They didn't ask me.
And you make them, you make him Chris Pratt or somebody else that's younger, whatever. You know.
So, do y'all want to get really pissed off?
God damn it! God damn it, Josh! What?
In 2019, the talk that they were having for Indiana Jones was actually getting Chris Pratt and bringing him on to reboot the series. And the reason it didn't happen was because Harrison Ford flipped his shit about it.
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
Swear to God.
I mean, Harrison Ford is a bitch.
Why?
Like I think
why
we've
couldn't
gotten
they have
that
both done the movie? Why could they not have both done the movie?
because
Young
Harrison
Indiana
Ford's
Jones
ego is
and
so
then
freaking big. He needs to have it examined.
Here's the other
Damn
thing
it.
about this new movie,
Fuck.
right? He could have, instead of doing this whole Dial of Destiny nonsense, he could have just did a period piece in the late 60s. He could have done like a whole archaeological thing
agreed.
and had a one last adventure. It could have had Marion in it.
Short round.
Yeah, you could have brought Shia back for his role. Maybe.
Fuck him.
Back, wouldn't
Fuck
that be exciting?
Shia and his fucking.
Like, really?
Okay, you know what?
I'd like
I
him to
feel
get
no-
trained as a hobo.
I feel no remorse for Harrison Ford. He signed on to this, and he signed on to the destruction of Han Solo as well. He's getting exactly what he deserves.
And
Well,
now he's
also,
bringing
like,
it to
he's
Marvel.
Fine, dude. He got
said
paid.
the only like I forget what interview or something like, but he actually didn't really care about Han Solo anyway. Indiana Jones was his.
No, he's been
Because
trying to
he
get
was
off
the
Han
star.
Solo for
He
years.
was the sole star of the whole franchise, and so he, of course, he's gonna like it better than any of the others because he doesn't have to share the spotlight with anybody else.
And the reason I say this is because in the Yellowstone like spinoff 1923, he was good in that.
Mhm.
You know?
Yeah, he is.
No one knows.
Yep.
So the last couple things I'm gonna. Oh, did I dump my shit? Yes, I did.
Yeah, see here what Pop says. The guy that plays Spencer in 1923.
Oh, he'd be good,
amazing indie during a reboot.
And
Yeah,
also
that guy's
hot
pretty
wife in
awesome.
that show too. Put her in something too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'd watch her read a phone book.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got this coming up. Come on, share, motherfucker. I keep hitting share. Why you're not sharing? There we go. Skipping Clark Kent's origin story. No one cares at this point. I think
Yeah.
I do.
I mean, I'm glad they're doing it, but quite honestly, I don't give a fuck about the DC films. There is very little that is going to draw me into the DC films at this point.
What about Blue Beetle though?
Fuck Blue Beetle and his fucking racist bullshit comments.
I feel
Fuck
like
him and his fucking Blue Beetle lie.
On the origin story, I feel like it's kind of the same with Batman. Like we've seen it
Right.
enough.
We've seen it enough.
Yeah, just don't care.
Right? Like let's
Do not
see them
give
in
a
their prime,
fuck.
beating up the prime villains.
Right.
Like let's
I
show
think
them in their element.
I think the casting, the casting.
No, I think the young man looks pretty good.
And Lois is a very good pick. Very
I
good.
don't give a
pick.
fuck about Lois. Not gonna lie.
But I still feel like, bro, like Henry
Josh?
Cavill, like why
with you, Josh.
why won't they utilize
Yeah,
him?
why not? Can Henry Cavill still? Because
No,
Drop the Snyderverse. It's dead. It's never.
No, I'm not
come
talking
back.
about the Snyderverse, but I mean utilizing.
No. If you
because
bring
it's still
him
going to
back
be
to
viewed as Snyderverse.
Snyderverse.
Like, they've tried for 5-6 years now to do this soft reboot bullshit that has not worked.
It has to be a hard.
Yeah.
When freaking Black Adam was coming out, I'll find the tweet if I have to.
Right, this fucking black eye.
I blatantly said, if you people want to see Henry Cavill as Superman, you better go see Black Adam. And guess what? Nobody fucking showed up to go see it.
Nope.
As
So,
long
You know
as
why?
Ezra
Because it
Miller's still
was
Black
terrible.
And it didn't help the
Black
film.
Adam was garbage. DC
And it
is
didn't help the
garbage
film.
right now.
But regardless,
So the problem is, I think Josh,
Cavill's too old.
argue with me right now.
Yeah.
DC making money on movies moving forward. Are they going to?
Yes.
No,
How?
How? Tell me how.
It's going to depend on Superman Legacy, man.
Black Beetle or Blue Beetle? Fuck
no,
Blue Beetle.
That's not gonna. That's
Beetle's going to make no money.
Okay.
Aquaman's going to make no money. It's going to
it
make
all
less
comes down
money.
to the
It's gonna
Superman
slow
movie.
them.
Roman. The only reason that thing is getting any talked about right now is the kid who is playing Blue Beetle. James Gunn wants him to come into his universe because he's probably going to get.
That's fantastic.
Because he's probably going to get because he's probably already got Chris Pratt lined up to play Booster Gold, which those two have a lot of interest to get together.
Yeah, those are like 10
Maybe.
movies into this. You need to get Superman right and not worry about Booster Gold and
That's
Blue Beetle.
really loose. Yeah. That's really loose, projecting though. I don't think any of these movies are going to make a fucking dime.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to get to Booster Gold level.
They're making it too complicated.
Especially fucking Aquaman. Aquaman is going to suck fucking.
That's a holdover.
Cock.
That's
how much that movie is going to make.
Okay.
No, the problem is that's what people are going to think of DC though. That's what people are going to think of DC. They keep putting out these fucking garbage movies that don't matter anymore. But DC is still putting them out.
You got this one, which is a holdover. You've got Batman, which is not related to anything.
So when they put out a good fucking movie, no one cares.
You got The Flash, which is also not related to what we're making now, which had a bunch of Supermans. Go, Joker.
Okay, so all of these holdover films, because they already had a lot of foreign to market contracts already locked in. They had to release them.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's your point?
Fine.
Yeah, I'm saying it's confusing as fuck to everybody.
That doesn't make
regardless of
things that come out in the future good. It doesn't make them good projectors as far as money making.
Just because you have a contract to do something doesn't mean it's going to help you in the future. And I like Pop's idea for episode 10. That's a great idea, Pops. I love it.
I know that Blue Beetle will make money in certain markets. That's fine. It's still going to be a failure overall.
I think Joker's point was we asked why are we even releasing them? It's because we have to.
That's why. I get that. Yeah.
The problem. Go ahead.
No, but then moving forward though to Superman Legacy. So we're jumping ahead, several years now to Superman Legacy.
2 years.
I don't give a fuck. I still don't give a fuck.
And that's going to get
pushed. I know it's James Gunn. I know it's Superman, but I also know it's WB, and I know what's still going on there.
Okay, so
James Gunn has so much control over what happens in his studio.
And what has David Zaslav done to make you think that he's going to let this thing ruin? He has cut the fuck out of DC. I get that. He is done. He's like chop, 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 chop. Hard reset because all he's trying to do is improve these IPs just enough so they can be sold off.
He doesn't actually care about the IPs. He cares about making money.
Yeah. Right.
He's looking at, bottom line. What made money, what didn't make money. Cut this. Keep this. James Gunn is a moneymaker. Keep him.
That's why. And that's also why they're doing. That's also why that they are doing this. That's also why they are doing this Harry.
Oh,
Potter.
Fuck that!
Because
Harry Potter. Fuck Harry Potter and his fucking magical ass.
They're gonna sell it off
Harry
to
Potter,
Universal.
Which book is that, Roman? Harry Potter and the Magical Ass?
That's number 4.
Is it? Okay, I guess I never read that one.
No, fuck Harry Potter, dude. Fuck it. They're going to.
How about I shove this wand
beyond it is fucking known. That is not going to be Harry Potter that you know. It's not going to be that cute little fucking guy and the redheaded fucking friend and the weird
Roman, on
weird haired dwarf. Fuck that show. It's gonna be terrible. It's gonna be.
No. The episode 1 is gonna be the most watched thing in TV history.
It will. You're right. That's the worst thing. You're right. It's the worst fucking thing. Fuck it. It's so fucking bad. I'm so fucking mad about that.
How do you know?
It's about to destroy the studio.
Because it fucking is. It's gonna be so fucking bad, dude.
Is there an earthquake over there? What is happening?
No, yes. Oh my god. Right,
anyway, Joker,
I've upset my studio.
I think you're right about the. I think it's going to be good. I think that James Gunn is going to do a good job on Superman. I hope he does, but
yes.
Nothing he's done has been like really bad.
Right.
So I give him the benefit of the doubt.
It's been okay. He's done a lot of okay stuff, Tyler.
Yeah, he has. Yeah.
And all this has to do is be like a 7 out of 10. That's all it has.
And he can do that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. He can do that. I mean, it can't be the same kind of jokey joke humor as all the Guardians movies, but I think he can do that. I think he's pretty good. He's a pretty good storyteller.
I think he's a good storyteller. I think he also knows he can't bring his usual shtick. I think he knows he has to. In his mind, he has to go more generic, which for him is just normal.
It's just basic apple pie.
Because because everything Gunn has said that Superman is to embody truth, justice, and the American way. Yeah. Great starting point. His casting has been spot on.
I agree. Yeah.
Now, if they get the Silver Age costume, another great point. And if they bring in someone like Alan Silvestri to do the score, you've got a home run.
Score is very important. Yeah. And then the guy who played Beast, I think they were talking about using him for Lex Luthor.
Yep.
Which would be another
excellent choice.
Yeah.
My favorite Lex Luthor would still be Bryan Cranston. I know they'll never do it, but I would love to see him as Lex Luthor.
Okay.
Gene Hackman is the best.
Gene Hackman was a good actor. He was a terrible Lex Luthor. I know.
Roman's favorite character was Otis. And the music.
I fucking hated Otis. I wanted the nuke to drop on fucking New York to blow up fucking Otis and fucking Lex Luthor for what
you didn't want him to get Otisburg?
Because
fuck Otisburg. Oh my god.
Because Otisburg is San Diego.
My doctor's coming. My doctor's on his way. Oh my god. Stop.
Otisburg is San Diego. That's why.
I shouldn't have done. I knew that.
You son of a bitch, Shieldwall.
Matt. Oh, okay. Well, Matt makes a good point here. That Clancy Brown as the voice.
Clancy Brown, I think, is probably too old physically.
Well, he's the voice of Lex Luthor.
His voice was fantastic. Yeah, his voice in the JLU. Jesus.
Pops is on fire tonight.
Oh no, Pops!
Battle for Otisburg.
All right. We gotta wrap it up now, guys, because we crossed over that line.
Well, also, you're gonna have a freaking heart attack immediately.
And I visit my cardiologist because of fucking Joker. Thank you for that, pal. Appreciate that. So let's go around the horn and talk about things we got coming up over the next week. So, Shieldwall, what do you got, buddy?
I guess next week, this show. I kind of lost track. I've been so busy doing other stuff. If I have something else coming up, I apologize to whoever invited me on that. I will do better at promoting things next time. Anyway, this is a great show. Lots of fun. And a lot of good conversation in the chat too. Lots of good info from Pops and Matt and everybody else out there. Trying to keep up with the multi-stream has been a little taxing for me. I'm not that tech savvy, so I apologize if I've been a little light on highlighting things here or whatever. And also, this Secret Invasion show, not that good.
Nope.
So anyway,
has
thanks for having me on.
One redeeming quality. One.
Right on, Shieldwall. You mean the main reason
it's halfway over?
Not so good. All right, Mando, what do you got coming up there, girlfriend?
All right, so this weekend is going to be a packed weekend. Saturday Literary Souls. We are bringing the panelists back for Horse and His Boy. This is going to be me,
nice.
Smile a While, Elijah, hopefully Megan from the Noob Reviews. I will ask Miss Martin Muse if she can also be there again. It's going to be lit. I am so excited for Horse and His Boy. So that's going to be this Saturday, 10:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. And then Sunday, of course, is with my friend Wicked Virtue with Unplugged with Wicked and Mando, where we talk about pop culture news and also how I can't apparently speak or read English while I'm live on stream. Like literally, America's got me a thesaurus and a dictionary when we met in person, because apparently my English skills need work. And then you'll see me on Twitch and around other streams. I think tomorrow I'm going to be doing Sea of Thieves with some peoples and drinking all of the rum. Because why is the rum gone?
Why is the rum gone?
Why is the rum always gone? Excellent. Well, good, man. No, good. All right, Josh.
Yes.
Pop My Culture. What do you have coming up, my friend?
Tonight, I think I'm on premature injection. I'm not sure. We'll see. I don't know. Who knows?
Wait,
We'll
I thought
find
that
out.
was yesterday.
No, he moved it to Thursday.
Wait, what the fuck? It's on Thursday now?
Yeah, well, I don't know. It's Don being Don. He's been a little.
God damn it. I don't even know
on.
what the fuck that means anymore.
Calm down, Roman. Calm down. We got to get
All right. This is why I'm not on the show anymore. I have no idea when it's on.
Saturday morning, I'll be on Comics Aficionados with Wes from Thinking Critical. Sunday night,
Awesome.
I'll be on Max's Man Cave for his birthday stream. If you don't follow Max, please go subscribe.
What are you doing with your life?
Yeah, we're trying to get him to 3,000, so go subscribe. I'm saying it on every channel. I'm being the biggest whore. I'm being the biggest whore for Max Von Priestley. He better freaking appreciate it. But yeah, no, go subscribe. He's a chill guy, good guy. And then Tuesday night, I will have my stream Culture Popped and rinse and repeat.
Right on. All right, Tyler the Redbeard. What do you have coming up, sir?
Yes, I got a review recorded. I did these 3 movies that I haven't been able to sit down and do reviews for. So I got them for all 3. It's Guardians 3, which we talked about already, Avatar, the sequel, and The Flash.
Oh.
So I've got all those.
Wow.
I watched the second Avatar movie and it was meh. It was
Yeah.
I mean, would I see it again? Probably not. But
Right.
was it okay?
Yeah, I waited.
I
Till
mean,
I haven't seen any of those movies, Tyler.
I
I've seen 0 of those movies.
You know what's bad is, comparatively speaking, it's such a good movie.
It is compared to what the shit that we're getting now. Avatar, the new
Compared
movie.
to like what's coming out right now.
I disagree, but all right.
No, I haven't seen it. I've seen none of those movies.
It's amazing.
It's
the best thing ever compared to the dog shit that we're getting.
Not good.
Compared to like The Flash and Indy.
What's that?
I said I'm saying Avatar 2 compared to like The Flash and Indiana
Better.
Jones, and that's what I'm saying comparatively to.
I couldn't finish it, to be honest with you, man.
Well, see, the ending is actually where it got good.
Right, that's what I was thinking. I was like, the ending was the best part.
The name of all its horror.
I couldn't get to the ending. Couldn't get through the middle part. But I've got that review probably coming out in the next couple of days or so. And yeah, man, thanks for having me on.
Right on. Joker voice. What do you have to say about coming up next week?
Well, tomorrow I've got my review of this shit show coming down. And then tomorrow, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, I will be simulcasting from Legion Talk, which Friday Night's Royal Rumble. And that's what I got for the rest of this week. Next week is rinse and repeat. Is something on Monday, something on Wednesday, something on Friday. Be back here on Thursday.
Right on. Yes, sir.
So Monday I'll be with this guy here, also on Legion Talk, Game of Thrones.
It depends. Are you going to show up this week?
I was on vacation, you ass. Jeez.
Right, vacation.
That's right. So, but yeah. So, thanks again for having me. I'm glad I got the ultimate reaction out of Roman, because I think we haven't had that type of a. I don't think we've had that type of a breakdown since the scissor trio now was formed.
I would agree. I would agree,
Vex,
Joker.
you're
I would
there
agree.
in the ether. We still love you, Vex.
Yes.
We will have Vex back on. I know Vex has a different time zone and she's got other shit going on right now, but she will be back one day. So, all right.
I'm in the same time zone. What are you talking about?
No, Vex.
It's the same time zone.
Vex is not in the same time zone, or she's busy. I don't know, whatever she's doing.
Yeah,
she
I'm
can't
in the
be
same
here
time
at
zone as
5
Vex.
o'clock. So, Vex is avoiding us. We've captured that. Anyway,
Wow.
I'm sorry.
So next week we're gonna be back with the same kind of deal. We're gonna look at episode 4 of Nick Fury destroying his own life, and what the fuck else is going on out there? Because by next week, who knows?
I bet you he's gonna get blamed for that girl's death. It's gonna be like it's gonna be your fault, Fury.
Oh my god!
If we have anything to look forward to, most of the cast members have said their favorite episode is episode 4. So
all right, well,
fingers crossed.
We'll see it. We'll check out next Wednesday. Hopefully, my fucking screen cap site opens up and I have more fucking stuff to share. So it's not just my retarded things of finding things off the interweb going, where can I find things that look like this? Anyway.
No, you had good enough pictures to follow the story. It was fine.
I can.
Oh yeah.
That was a lot of work. That was several hours of me doing that. So anyway, thank you everybody who's hung in there for this long. Thank you for the chat who always brings all the fun stuff. And thank you to this fucking panel.
The multiple chats.
Just so weird and wonderful and brings all the, the good stuff. And we have all this churning fucking conversation, which is a lot of fun. Even though I'm mildly drunk and have a broken toe, I really appreciate everybody being here. So for now, this has been Roman of the Empire signing off. As always, be kind.
Toodles!
Mother dick.
Yes.